little bit sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, hi.
Do you know how to do this?
I don't.
No?
I don't know what's happening.
I know, it's been so long.
It has been. Hi, everyone. Welcome to A Couple of Sassholes podcast. I'm Brooklyn Johnson.
That felt weird.
It did.
Well, I'm Heather Terry still, so
Yeah.
nothing changed over here.
And it's our true crime power hour of fucked up people doing fucked up shit for usually fucked up reasons. Sometimes we're like, yeah, I get it. Other times like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's what you're going to say today.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because... yay. I don't know the story, but that sounds good. And I feel like I've dropped my last name as a human being. Like every time I would have usually been like on calls and stuff for work, I'm like, this is Brooklyn May. And I'm like, this is Brooklyn.
You just don't say it.
Well, I feel in a weird place because nothing's legal yet. Like besides me changing it on Facebook and me changing it on my work email, like this is not legal yet. I mean, the marriage is, but the last name isn't. So I feel weird.
The marriage is legal. Signed, sealed, delivered. I signed it and I delivered it.
And she sealed it.
She thinks.
No, I got the certificate in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, way to go, sister.
That was fun for none at all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And you just got back. We haven't done this for 3 weeks. 4 weeks?
I'm like
a month.
4 to 6 weeks.
It's been a long time.
Because we had made sure that we were caught up the weeks leading up to the wedding, too. And
we did.
And then here we are.
It's
been so long.
It has. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Your wedding was great. Your honeymoon was great, you said.
It's wonderful. I love being out in nature and doing all that shit. I can't even go into the detail of all the crazy shit that essentially happened. But the one thing that like stressed us the fuck out the most was the DEF sensor, which is your diesel exhaust fuel.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Everybody knew that.
Apparently the government had them put them in all of these diesel vehicles because essentially, whenever you'd see those trucks and all that, that black smoke would come out of the exhaust. Mm-hmm. That DEF fuel puts it requires them by law to put that in to lower the emissions in a truck, because now I know fucking everything about DEF systems.
Man.
So it looks like the sensor was malfunctioning whenever we were driving for a long period of time. So what that does is every certain amount of miles, it will start to lower if you don't fill it up with more DEF fuel, like the fuel, or the fluid, then it will lower your ability to drive your vehicle until your vehicle shuts off. So when that shit happened in Nebraska, like we fucking thought that the vehicle, like we thought we were going to miss the whole half of our honeymoon because it was a bigger issue to fix. And apparently it's a recall on the type of truck. Yeah. And all this other shit. So there's like a moment in there where I was like, me and Travis both said we thought maybe we were crazy. And ta-da, we made it through. We limped all the way through, and he still has to take his truck in to fucking get that shit fixed. But eventually it sucked for the first 3 when we were on the road the most. And like, so the speed limit's 75. So if we would have been lowered to 65, we would have just been fucking ran over. And then it would have gone down to 45. And it's a very terrifying experience.
So you thought your truck was going to fuck up.
Just stop.
And then
we thought it was just going to stop.
Yeah.
And it was going to stop in a random state, and all of our campsites were paid for.
Yeah.
So like the most expensive one was the first day because San Francisco is fucking stupid. And that one was like $200, which for anyone that RVs knows that is fucking insane, because that's basically just a parking spot in that location.
Yeah. And so they pulled a camper across the country the day after their wedding.
Hungover.
Which I said, you're going to be tired. It's going to be rough.
Oh my God.
But you made it. You made it. She came back. I was devastated and wore a black veil for 16 days while she was gone. But other than that, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything was fine.
She's back. The world is right again. She just
we made it through.
New last name.
Yes. And now I'm all married and stuff. It's all official. I'm not living in sin.
Yeah, no.
No more sin.
Yeah, she's a Christian soldier all over again. Yeah, and you also were on the Smile Project, our friend Janet Rowland's podcast.
Yes. I don't know. I go, I love, and I don't know where the rest of...
We love Janet. That's what you're going to say.
we love Janet. I actually was like, I need to text her because she's a sweet baby angel that whenever you're on her podcast, she sends you a thank you card. And a little gift card. And I was like...
we didn't do that.
No, literally she did that and I was like, you're better than me.
Oh my.
So, but I was like, I will be posting on my personal socials, my
Yeah, we'll post it on
freaking
ours
episodes.
too.
I had just got back from my honeymoon like 4 days ago, and I'm literally fucking delirious.
Yeah.
So it's been the most insane 3 weeks. Last night, Travis and I sat down and we got obsessed with the show 1883, which I can't believe it took that long because it's a prequel to Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and we actually sat down and watched TV, and I was like, Travis, I feel like I need to be cleaning out my water bladder, which is that little platypus that goes into your backpack whenever you're hiking, because there's mold in the straw, because that happens. And there's things I was like, I need to do these things. I still need to do all the thank you cards for the honeymoon or the wedding. And Travis is like, I don't know if you've known this, and it was storming outside, and he goes, I don't think we've not done something for probably 5 weeks.
Y'all don't know how to do that anyway.
I know. We usually give ourselves like a lazy day once a month.
Once a month, she said. I have to do it once a week to recharge. Whenever you give yourself to everybody all the time, you need a minute to go with it yourself and just turn your brain off and watch.
There's all these moms out there
Dance
that are
moms.
like, sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, well,
I give myself to everyone 24/7, and I haven't had an hour to pee.
Yeah, right. I respect you. It's just not my journey. Mine is definitely, I just have to be on. Not for kids, though. God, I couldn't imagine. Amy Hooser, speaking of being on, would you like to hear my story? Because it's very long. You would?
You keep saying it's long, and I am just intrigued to see if it's actually long. And I left a lot
out because it's very disturbing. And I watched some videos and listened to some audio, and it has literally haunted me. I'm not even kidding. And we do this all the time.
Yeah. There's a part of this, though, like, I'm literally tuning in by showing up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my
to
God, I'm
record
so
this episode.
tired. That's why I sound like Macy Gray.
I kind of want to be disturbed.
You do?
I mean, that is kind of what true crime is, you know?
Well,
sometimes I'm in the mood
to be disturbed. I don't know if you've ever heard of these people. I had not. Leonard Lake and Charles Ng.
Oh my God, yeah. No, I don't know them.
No?
Heather's face was like, how have you heard of them?
I'm like, no.
No, wait, what are their names? I was just ready for my reaction. I didn't actually hear the name.
She's like, I'm going to fuck with her.
Yeah, because she wants that today.
That's right. Leonard Lake and Charles Ng.
I don't think so.
Perfect.
Great.
This sounds like a book that you would read, though, to be honest with you. Okay. Sources. There's a million of them because I did my research and then added more shit in later and then didn't cite those. So, Wikipedia, Oxygen.com, the New York Post. There's season 2, episode 11 of World's Most Evil Serial Killers on Peacock.
Ooh.
And then, what'd you say? Please do that again.
I didn't realize I did it.
What?
Just like whenever I walk around, I'm like, meow.
Oh my God, that's my favorite noise.
Peacock.
Yes,
That's what I call peacock in my house.
That's.
I was like, what's it on? Peacock.
That's pretty funny.
No, we're just thriving at our house.
Oh man, Brooklyn Johnson's wild. And I listen to an episode of True Crime all the time this morning too. So, okay, trigger warning for everything.
Okay,
I feel like that's a blanket. Our whole podcast is a trigger. So, but this one is.
It's one of those where you're like, please just put it on pause. Listen to a little freaking Justin Bieber until the kids are at school.
Right. Yeah. And if you're going to dig in deeper, then just be prepared because there is a lot of things online that you can find on this. So, okay. Also, there's a lot of conflicting information because it was the 80s. So, like, people just kind of said what they want. So, there's a bunch of different stories. I just picked my favorite.
I like that.
Yeah.
Those are my faves. And you're like, it's literally I'm
like, I heard this twice.
Choose your own adventure.
Like those Goosebumps books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Leonard Thomas Lake was born on October 29th, 1945 in San Francisco. You were just there. His parents split when he was 6, so he and his siblings went to live with his grandmother. Now, there was something that I read that his brother, Donald, was like hit by a train and like disabled or something. So he was jealous of his brother because he had to go live with his grandparents because his mom had to take care of his brother. But
I'm also like so mesmerized at someone surviving being hit by a train, but we're going to just scoot past it and let that one sit on the floor.
Yeah, we're going to do that too. They said he was a really smart kid, but he had really fucked up obsessions super young. He had porn obsessions when he was like 8, and they were fueled by his mom and his grandma. That look is what I feel. Yes. He would take nude pictures of his sisters, his cousins, and he would even extort sexual favors from his sisters to protect them from his other brother.
I feel bad for these sisters.
We're diving in real deep real quick. Yeah, and the grandma's like, take titty pictures of him. He's like 8.
I know. Oh, sorry. What year?
This was like 1950-ish, like in the 50s.
1950.
Because he was born in 45.
I'm just like,
yeah.
How is there porn? Because there's no videos. And
like dirty mag. I mean, I'm sure there was like.
Oh yeah, to me, porn is always
like,
like, I can't pay for my pizza boy.
Oh yeah,
That's
someone
what
was
I
telling me
think.
that they're taking Pornhub out of Kentucky unless you'd submit your driver's license. Fun fact.
Ooh, good. Well, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't watch it anymore. But
Liar. Okay.
But I mean, I guess I don't know. I think. What do you think's worse, OnlyFans or Pornhub?
Well, I mean, they get paid on OnlyFans, so you choose to do that.
But Pornhub, aren't they getting paid for that too? Like they would have gotten paid to record it.
Or not.
Well, I don't know if you're watching secret rape videos.
No, I mean, like, some of them.
Heather's like, well, one of them I know she did not say yes. That's not consensual. I'm like,
I'm not
no.
watching that.
Usually those ladies too make a very solid living.
Well, I know you got paid, but I just mean. Yeah, let's spun that one back
I
around.
don't know.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's too early for this bullshit. I just wanted a fun fact Friday.
Well, I needed to know.
Okay.
And now I'm going to Google that later on my work computer.
So this little creepy kid, he also would torture animals. He would like take mice and like put acid on them and just giggle like a little psycho. So young age, fucked up. He graduated high school and enlisted in the Marines in 1964 and he was 19. He served 2 tours in Vietnam and was diagnosed with schizoid personality disorder, which, according to the Mayo Clinic, is a chronic mental health condition that causes a person to have little interest in forming close relationships with others. Basically, they're cold. They don't really care about anybody but themselves.
Totally get that.
Mental illness was in every generation of his family. That's shocking, considering what his mom and grandma were encouraging. And the Marines had him do 2 years of therapy, but apparently it didn't help, so he got honorably discharged for that. He goes to 1 semester at San Jose State and then is like, I don't like school, and dropped out. He got into the hippie scene in San Francisco and joined a commune, and he married a girl there in 1975. I guess he lived there for like 8 years.
Gosh, a commune sounds awesome. I'm all for it.
His porn addiction never went away, and he was really like heavily into extreme bondage. For those sweet baby angels who don't know what bondage is, according to Wikipedia, I have photos for you too in a minute.
I know I got to look up porn in the 50s.
I was like, she said, I'm going to look up porn. I was like, okay.
I just need to understand. Oh, okay.
What is it, like a calf? They show their calf or something?
I don't know. Like one of these, I'm like, oh, you're an idiot, Brooklyn. You definitely Googled that wrong because it's like 1950s vintage porn. So I'm pretty sure it's today's porn just with a really cool filter on it and good retro hair.
Well, okay. So bondage is the practice of consensually tying, binding, or restraining a partner for erotic, aesthetic, or some weird word simulation. A partner may be physically restrained in a variety of ways, including the use of rope, cuffs, bondage tape, or self-adhering bandage. He made his wife star in his porno movies with men, women, and all that. Sometimes he was in them, sometimes he was not. And she was like, yeah, I don't want to do this, so I'm going to leave. So that married life was not for her.
I get it.
Right?
FYI, the first video porn was in like 1850.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, FYI,
Do they kiss on the
thought
cheek?
cameras were. Why do you keep acting like that was probably way worse porn then? There is now.
You're probably right.
Like, yeah, and no. Anyway, yes, women back then still didn't have an opinion. So
That's very true.
I'm pretty sure it was just. Bleh. Anyway, I was wrong. I was thinking that wasn't such a thing.
Yeah.
But apparently, it was indeed a thing.
I didn't know that either.
The first porn started in 1850. Video porn.
Damn.
I didn't even know they had video. I
know. Okay.
You know what?
Yeah.
No one question that.
Yeah, please
Question
don't.
it or Google it on your lunch break today.
Math and facts. That's what we're here for. Okay, in 1980, he was charged with grand theft because he stole some building material, and then he just got probation. He got married again in 1981 to a girl named Clara Lynn Balaz, which went by Cricket. And fun
Cute.
fact, he met her when he was working at a Renaissance fair. Not only did they dress up at the fair, I did read this somewhere else. They live their lives like that. Like, part of the schizo disorder that he had was you can create like a fantasy world and go like within yourself. They even pretended, they pretended to be unicorns. So like freaky freaks in the bedroom, not kink shaming, but like I don't want to wear a horn on my head. Like they would wear a horn on their head and pretend to be unicorns at their house. We're going to just keep going.
To have sex or just to be alive?
Both.
I'm letting that go.
Yeah, that's
I'm choosing to let that go.
We're going to have to. That's what I love costumes, and I can't do that every fucking day. Like every day. Putting on the Renaissance Fair stuff, too, just for life.
I would unfriend you. I think our friendship runs so deep, but then whenever certain things happen, I'm like, no, I would not be your friend.
Yeah, I don't think I would be like, my fair maiden, do you want to go to Kroger?
No, I'm totally fine with cutting the string of our friendship.
And she starred in his porn movies, too. In 1981, Leonard Lake put an ad in like a survivalist. He was very scared of the nuclear war and all that stuff, like back in the Cold War 80s type. So he put an ad in a magazine, and like they said War Game magazine. I don't know what that means, so we're just keep going. Charles Ng answered the ad, and then that starts the match made in hell. So Charles was born in Hong Kong in 1961, and his dad was like a wealthy Chinese executive who apparently like beat the shit out of him and was really hard on him. But once you hear what he did, you'll say good. He was expelled from several schools for stealing, fighting. He got arrested at 15 for shoplifting because that was kind of his thing and all that. His rich daddy kept shipping him off to all these like boarding schools. So he shipped him off to England, and he got kicked out because like real quick, like a month later, for stealing from other kids. He came to the U.S. in 1970.
To be rich, I want to punch that motherfucker right in the throat. To be rich and then steal from other people.
Yeah.
Go fuck off.
He was like a klepto.
Go fuck all the way fucking off.
All the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Golly.
He came to the U.S. in 1978 on a student visa, and he went to Notre Dame in Belmont, California to study biology. He lasted one semester and joined the Marines in 1979. He and two other Marines got caught stealing $11,000 worth of automatic weapons and grenades and all this shit from the Marines while in Hawaii, and they got arrested.
Good.
They gave him a psych evaluation, and he had talked during the psych evaluation about saying that he had already killed someone and he was going to assassinate all these people. And they're like, what? No. But somehow he got away from them in Hawaii. And I don't know how that happened. Like he was arrested, detained, and then he somehow got out and got back to California, out of there. He answered Leonard's ad, and then now here we are, right? No, I haven't mentioned.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't feel like this is a good combination.
It's not at all.
I feel like it's Siracha on a weak stomach.
What?
You know?
Oh, man.
Sounds like a fiery poop is about to happen.
Yeah, definitely a fiery shit for sure. Okay. Now, I haven't mentioned this, but Leonard Lake, I know this is going to be a shock to you, was a huge racist asshole.
Whoa.
I know. He sounds like a stand-up guy, but no, racist asshole. But he becomes like bestie boos with this Chinese guy. And for some reason, it's okay. But he hates all other racist but white people. Now, I really want to know what the ad said.
I'm confused, but okay.
What? Yeah.
I don't know.
He meets this guy. He puts an ad.
I totally
don't know
get
what
it.
the ad
I'm just
says.
intrigued by chosen racism.
Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know. But then he becomes best friends with this Chinese guy because they're both fucking crazy. Now, Leonard had been stockpiling guns, ammo, explosives, all that stuff because of the nuclear happenings that were going to happen. And then his new friend Charles is also obviously into that shit. He got caught for stealing. And the feds came in because they've been watching Leonard Lake for a while, and they came in and raided his house and took it all. Leonard was arrested, but for some reason, because he has all these illegal weapons and shit that like people, just average civilians, should not have. And he was released on $6,000 bail, and then he ran. So like his mom came and posted the bail, and then he was like, yeah, I'm going to go. Charles was a fugitive because he escaped from the Marines still. So when they caught him, they took him back to the Marines. So he had to face the charges there. They did some negotiation, and he got 18 months in Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, which apparently is like a rough place. And then he got paroled early.
Were they just hoping he was going to be killed or scared straight? Or
I don't know.
like a dude just stole from our military. If it didn't give you a gun to the head, what the fuck is the point?
Yeah, grenade launchers.
That's what I'm
and shit.
saying.
Yeah,
like they should have shot him in the head.
you'll think. Just wait. You'll think a lot more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've also been watching 1883 once more, everyone. So I'm very old Western in my mind right
She's
now.
gonna ask me to have a duel here in a minute.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to kill you.
Okay, so he calls his bestie Leonard when he gets out, and somehow Leonard had gotten property in Wiselyville, California. And then I wrote this, but then afterwards I read that it was actually Cricket who had already left him. It was her family's property that he was renting. So like he's quote unquote on the run, but he went to his ex's family's property. They could have looked up like
So him and Cricket actually broke up.
She broke up, but they were still friendly, whatever the fuck that means.
So they were having sex.
Yeah, that's what I think that means.
Yeah.
Just maybe not on tape anymore. So,
Or maybe.
Yeah. And Wiselyville is about 150 miles away from San Francisco. And he built that cabin on their property. He started to build a bunker, and then the landlord was like, and the neighbors even actually helped him because of the, nuclear war that was possibly going to happen,
I
which
mean, it
was
makes
a big
shit
thing.
ton of sense. It does.
But then the people that owned it were like, hey, you can't do that. But he still was done with it anyway. And he started his prepping and all that stuff. And he had a shit ton of illegal weapons because after they took them all, he just found more. And then he apparently had some really nice video equipment. So put a pin in that. Now, at this point, Leonard had already murdered, which I bet you're not shocked by that because he went on a solo act while his Chinese best friend was in prison. So he had killed his brother, the one that was disabled, Donald Leonard. And he'd also killed his best friend and the person who was the best man at his wedding, Charles Gunner. So
Why?
He had been stealing money from his brother. Like he started cashing his disability checks. And then Charles Gunner, he wanted his identity. So Charles went to stay with him to visit him. He was like, let's go to Vegas. I want to blow off some steam. Cricket just left me. And he was like, okay. Gets a babysitter, takes Charles in Charles's car. They go to Vegas. He brings the van back, tells the babysitter that Charles just ran off with somebody or something. And then just starts cashing his checks. So he's just...
How is he getting his checks?
I don't
You know what I mean?
I don't know
like,
how
why
he
would he
did-
be mailing his checks to?
That part I didn't understand either, but who
Weird.
knows? Yeah. And then, so Charles Ng goes to stay with him at this crazy town cabin, which Cricket, some say she lived there, some say she didn't. I think she did. But,
Ooh, dun.
and over the next year, shit gets terrible. So now I'm going to do it a little differently. So, like, I'm not going to bury the lead because normally I wait till the end to tell you what happens. But I'm going to tell you up front that the two fucks get caught and then all the fucked up shit that they did before that. So on June 2nd, 1985, Charles Ng steals something from a hardware store. It's like a vice, like a table vice or something for like $50. And then he ran. So he's still a klepto.
Yeah.
And then Leonard come back. He went back to the store and he was like, hey, I'm really sorry. I'm going to pay for this, my friend. He didn't mean it, whatever. But the cops were already there. And the cops had looked because he had thrown it in a car and ran. Charles did. And they had looked in the car and ran the plates. Well, the cops asked for Leonard Lake's ID, and he handed them Robin Scott Stapley's driver's license. And they don't look anything alike. And they're like, who the fuck is this dude? And so then when they go to the car, he tries to pay for something stolen. And then he's got someone else's ID trying to pass it off as himself. And they're like, this is really weird. And
Why did he come back?
he was trying to get there before the cops did.
I understand, but then turn around.
Yeah.
Like you see the cops there, turn around.
Yeah, that part was really dumb, too. I think it was just he was so cocky and delusional, he thought he could just get away with it.
Yeah.
And Robin Scott Stapley was a missing man from San Diego, so they searched his car. He had a gun with a silencer on it, which is illegal, so they arrested him. The plates on his car were Leonard Lake's, but the car was Paul Coster's, and there was a bullet hole in the roof. Paul hadn't been seen since November of 1984. They figure out who he is, and he admits it on the way there. He's like, I'm Leonard Lake. And also on the ride there, he's like, you really need to look at Charles Ng. That's who that was. Like, he throws his best friend right under the bus and is like, that you need to go. You should find him. This is his name.
So if he just would have never gone back.
Yep. Because they weren't digging that hard if he was, quote unquote, on the lam, but he was living at his ex-wife's family's property with the same last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while questioning him, he was like, listen, I've done some bad shit. I'm going to tell you everything. I want a piece of paper and a pencil and some water. And so they're...
You know what I want?
What?
The people outside of this booth to shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, I know. They're being really loud.
They are being I just want everyone to know that I have had no sleep. It is early as fuck in the morning, and we're trying to do this before the workday starts.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, there are 700 people in here talking so fucking loud outside the door that I am actually not even struggling with understanding what Heather is saying, but hearing her. Like, walk the fuck away. You see the Anna. Okay. Anyway, I just had to say it because I was like, this is distracting the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too. Okay. So he says, I'll tell you everything, right? Like, if I just need paper, pencil, give me some water. And Todd, you should go find my friend.
Yes.
So he starts to write it down. They're like, I'm going to step out real quick. When they step out, they come back in. There's a note on the table. He's foaming at the mouth, and they have to rush him to the hospital. Mm-hmm. He died 4 days later because he had sewn a cyanide pill into his shirt and took it when they stepped out. That's why he wanted the water. So he's like, yeah, I'll tell you everything. The note, I heard what the note said, and it was basically to Cricket, but it didn't say her name. It called her Lynn, but that was her middle. It was Claire Lynn. So it said basically like, freedom isn't free and I love you, whatever. Like, sorry for something, but not for what he did.
Just to take a cyanide.
Throw your friend under the bus. And he died 4 days later. So hopefully it fucking hurt because he sucks.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, but like to have that in you knew you were going to get caught if you had that sewn in your clothes. Like,
it's not like you could have then washed your clothes.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, it literally had to have been sewn in that day.
Or every
like
shirt
tucked
or
in
something.
or
Yeah.
something, you know?
And then some said it was in his belt. Some, like, he just always wore this belt with it. I don't know. But, who fucking knows?
But still, at the end of the day, he obviously knew he was going to be killing himself for secrets.
Yep. Yeah. The
Dicey.
piece of shit killed himself. Now, obviously, the cops are like, okay, why did you do that? Like, he never told him what he did. He just said, I did some bad shit. And then said, go talk to my friend. And then died. So they go to the property in Wiselyville. And they started finding shit from a ton of missing people. Like cars, trucks, the second they get there, there's way too much shit here for just these people.
Oh, no.
They searched all his property. So he had built like workshops. He had a cabin. And then the bunker, they find that too. Now, in his workshop, they saw a ton of tools, and they're like, there's dried blood on every single one of these.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the room, from the outside, you go in it, it's smaller than what it should be. So, like, there's a hidden part somewhere.
No,
Yeah.
Heather, I don't want to.
Yeah,
I'm going to get up. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go.
You do, yeah. They find a trap door to a smaller room, and in there is a bed, a nightstand.
These aren't the toolbox murders.
No, but it's similar.
Okay.
Man. Some books, and on the wall there's pictures of like 21 women, just pictures of them, like not headshots but just photos. And then there's a wood plaque on the other wall that says Operation Miranda. Now, have you ever heard of the book called The Collector by John Fowles?
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't, and it's apparently about a butterfly collector who kidnaps a woman and locks her in a cellar, and then she dies. Like, he collects butterflies, but then he gets this woman, and that's like his
butterfly.
life. Yeah. And then they keep looking around. They find another secret room that was 3 foot by 7 foot with a 6 foot ceiling. So think of like a tiny long hallway. And in there was a tiny bed, a toilet, which is basically a bucket, an air freshener. And then there's a few holes drilled in the wall for airflow, but no sunlight could come through. And the window, there was a window looking in there. You could see in, but you can't see out. So like you could look in that room. There's a button in the main room too where you could hear into those rooms.
This is very spicy.
Mm-hmm. The search takes days, obviously. And on the fourth day, which is the same day that Leonard Lake died, was when they started finding the skeletal remains. There were full skeletons of people, but they had been like burned and sawed into sections. So it took a minute. There were over 40 pounds of remains that were smashed, bone fragments, sawed and burned. And I don't know how much bones weigh, but that sounds a little bit excessive.
I don't know how much bones weigh either.
I don't know. I always just say I'm big boned. That's what. So I just assume that they weigh a lot, but still, that's, yeah. So in total, at this point, there were remains of 11 people minimum, but they weren't sure because, like I said, some of them were smashed and stuff. And not only did they kill these people, they found evidence of people being put into the fire and some were alive, like when they put them in.
No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
FYI, like if you weigh 150 pounds, your skeletal remains are about 22 pounds.
Oh.
So I presume the 40 pounds of crushed is just the powder. So I'm like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Fire to me, I'm like, I just feel like that's the worst way to die ever.
Yeah. And they found sealed buckets, and there was a lot of like missing people stuff in there. Robert Scott Stapley's checkbook was in there. They found jewelry, credit cards of people, wallets, and every one of them had been missing. They also found 3 videotapes. Two weren't labeled, but one said M Ladies Kathy/Brenda on it. The cops have to watch these, and they watched the unmarked ones first. One was Cricket and Leonard at Thanksgiving dinner. Which, what?
Creepy. That's weird.
I know. The second was Leonard talking in great detail about, and he was just sitting in a recliner too, talking about his fantasy of kidnapping a woman and making her a sex slave. And
always, what's up with a fucking sex slave?
Oh yeah, and he's like, you'll never know. Operation Miranda's getting ready to start, and I've been working on this forever. It's just him, and he's like, you won't. I'm even scared to see how far I'll go. Like, it's creepy as fuck.
I was gonna say, so you got to see the video?
I saw part of it too. Like. Here is a photo of him, Leonard Lake. Picture this guy sitting in a chair talking about wanting to lock a woman up and do it and use her and put her back. Like the way that he talks about women is...
He's terrifying.
And
looking.
this is... where'd it go? Well, I had a photo of the other guy. I don't know where it went, so I'll look at it in a second. Okay, the third tape. This is the one that I heard clips of, and I wish that I had not. It shows a woman named Kathy Allen chained to a chair, being forced to do a strip tease while Charles and Leonard both taunt her. It shows Charles raping her and cutting her clothes off with like scissors and stuff. And she's literally like, why are you doing
terrified,
this?
Yeah.
But she says, why are you doing this, Charles? So like...
She knew him.
Mm-hmm. And and Leonard's taking pictures while he's raping her. And then he's telling her, he's like, I'm going to bury you and shoot you unless you're our sex slave. And you have to do what we say. So you have no choice. It's up to you. Like they're so cold to her, talking to her like trash.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're into that, I wouldn't expect you to have much empathy.
Right? Yeah. And they were just like, well, you have to do what we say. You have no choice. So, and she's like, oh God, like you see, like, it's so bad. And Kathy was only 18 and she worked at a supermarket close to where they lived. Leonard had called the store and said that her boyfriend, Michael Sean Carroll, had been shot. And that's how he lured her there because Charles Ng had been Michael's cellmate in prison and had seen pictures of her. So they picked her out. Yeah.
Poor thing.
I know. And then she told her boss, like, my boyfriend's in trouble. I got to go to Lake Tahoe, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, I'm going to send my friend to pick you up. And it was Leonard. So that's why she got in the car with him.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I know. And Brenda, the other one on the tape, she was heard pleading for her baby's life. Infant. Yeah. And she had to agree to do what they said. Because they said your baby's going to sleep like a rock. And little did Brenda know that they had already killed her son, Lonnie Jr., and her husband, or her fiance, Lonnie Sr. And she was doing what they said because they said that.
Of course.
Yeah.
So where did they find, are they breaking into homes and killing families and grabbing the women? Like, how did they get her?
That one, I don't know how they got her, but it's most of
she would have thought that if she thought her family was still alive.
I think they just abducted all of them at the same time. I think that might be the one where they broke in because they did so much shit that I got a couple of them confused. But this one, I'm pretty sure that they broke in and just took them. Like they broke into her house.
Yeah, but then how did they kill her family?
They took them all at gunpoint and then took her separate and shot them. Yeah. Okay, so in total as of now in their search, they have the bodies of 7 men, 3 women, 2 baby boys, and 45 pounds of bone fragments. Now, this video equipment that I mentioned was very high-tech for the 80s, and then they tracked it with the serial numbers, and it had been taken from Harvey Dubs, Deborah Dubs, and Sean Dubs, their son, who was like 5 or 6. He was pretty young. Harvey had an ad out in the paper for the equipment for rent, because he was a photographer and a videographer, and he wanted to rent that out. So Leonard and Charles answered the ad, went to the house, taken the family, and then they killed all of them and stole it. Now, Don Giletti was another victim of theirs. He was a famous DJ in San Francisco, and him and his roommate Richard Carrazza were there. But Don apparently had put an ad in a paper or answered an ad for I think it was oral sex from an Asian man or something. Like,
Are you fucking kidding me?
no, I'm being serious. I heard that this morning. So
Are you fucking kidding me?
he answered that there was an ad.
I am not processing what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I refuse. My brain refuses to process what you're saying. Just take out an ad and be like, I'd really like an Asian man to go down on me.
Or it was, I don't know who put what in because I'm half asleep also. So I don't know whether it was Charles doing that to lure somebody.
Yeah, but what woman is looking at an ad and she's like, you know what? I've been dying to suck an Asian dick.
Well, it was, oh God.
I've been dying to suck dick. Let's do it.
It had a homoerotic undertone. So basically it was like they were advertising gay sex with an Asian man. So I don't know who put what or who answered.
Dawn, the woman.
No, D-O-N, sorry.
Oh. All of that had just confused the absolute shit out of me. I'm like, women don't do that. We're not posting that we want someone to fucking go to Taco Bell on us. Like, I just don't get it. Okay, now it makes sense. Got it. Okay. Got it. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying. Thanks for cleaning that up for me.
You're welcome.
It's too early for me to think that women are posting about like
and being very, very,
very specific.
Yeah, heritage specific.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to have to choke on it. Let me get it. I'm kidding. I don't know. That's just me making a joke. No one get mad.
It's definitely too early for your bullshit, but I love you. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Charles goes there. They open the door like, oh, hello, Asian man. And then he shot both of them and tried to rob them. Don sadly passed away, but Richard survived. So he was like, this Chinese man with glasses came to our house. So what is that?
Is it because someone's calling me at fucking 7-something in the morning? Yeah, sorry. I'm sure it's to tell me that I have a great rate on my auto insurance.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The pistol that was used there was also found at the cabin. So they linked that one to Charles, too. Brenda O'Connor was the girl in the third tape that I mentioned. That's right. I found this out later and I just added it in later. So Brenda, that was in the tape that was begging for her baby's life, she was a neighbor. And she had told her husband, who sadly passed away too, that she thought she saw Leonard burying a girl in the woods and no one believed her. She was trying to tell people and they were like, whatever. Like,
I don't know how people would think that you what could tell me right the fuck now could be the only scenario that it looked like I was burying a body and I'm not burying a body.
Yeah.
It's like you're burying your trash. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah, what are you burying in the woods?
Yes.
Like, I feel like if we told our husbands they'd be like, well, we'll at least go look. Or we'll say something. Like, if you thought I was, like, I wouldn't be like, you're full shit. Which is sad because the guy ended up dying. But, like, you know.
Yeah.
To think about, I'm like, I feel like even if I said I saw a ghost, Will would believe me. Like,
yeah.
let alone that.
I was like, I've told Travis, I was like, if a ghost is inside of me, and I tell you.
You said that when I'm drinking water.
I'm like, if I tell you I'm not Brooklyn. Okay, Heather's making noises. If I was like, I'm not Brooklyn, I'm Juliet from 1842. I just want you to know, I'm not going to lose my mind. It means that there's a ghost inside of me named Juliet. I was like, I need you to always believe me, no matter what is happening, because you're the only person that is supposed to first believe me. So always believe me. Yeah. Never not believe me. I have no reason to lie. I'm not a liar. And now I'm passionate about if I saw something
if you got
crazy.
possessed by a ghost, like, what the fuck?
I read a book.
Okay.
I read a book,
that's usually
and that's what fucking happened. Bitch got possessed. It was the thing.
Okay, so Brenda O'Connor knew Robin Scott. I'm going to call him Scott because he went by Scott. Knew Scott Stapley. And that's the guy's stolen car that he had, the missing guy. And she got them to go move in with them and make friends with these guys because she was like, no one believes me. And there was like it's not Guardian of the Night. It's Guardians of something. Like, they were basically to help women feel safe on subways and public transit at nighttime.
Oh,
so he was like a good dude. He founded some chapter of this. So instead of calling the cops, she calls Scott, which I'm sure Scott was very capable, but like I would rather call the police.
I'm sure Scott was capable from like a group of 3 guys who had too much beer walking home from the pub versus serial killers.
Right? I know. So that's what I would have, maybe, I don't know. It's sad. So
It is.
Charles, okay, so we're back up to speed. Charles is on the run and Leonard is dead. Charles, he somehow boarded a plane, got to Chicago for a few days. He called, I think it was a cellmate, and then the guy drove him to Detroit because in Detroit, you can cross over to Canada. And back then, I don't think you needed papers to get in.
I mean, before 9/11, you could just walk anywhere. And
Yeah,
because
on that up there, like when I go visit my family, if you take the wrong exit, you literally go wait in line to get into Canada.
Yeah.
Like, so he just took the exit and went, and the guy was like, cool, good luck. But guess what got him caught in Calgary?
I couldn't
Stole.
Oh.
He can't stop stealing.
Stole.
He stole.
He stole. He stole in Calgary.
He stole.
Okay. Passion. Somebody woke up and drank passion for breakfast.
Definitely did not do that. Okay. But so on July 6th, like a month later, in 1985, he got arrested for shoplifting, but he was resist. That's what I was going to say. Resisting arrest and shot a security guard in the hand in the process. But the guy still subdued him till the cops came. So good for that security guard.
Way to go, security guard.
Yeah.
John.
I know. Because at that point, I'd be like, you shot me in the hand. It ain't worth it. Take whatever you want.
Oh, I would for sure be like, you just shot me in the fucking hand. I'm going to fucking choke you out until you black out. And then the cops are coming and look at my blood on you.
Oh.
I'd be real aggressive.
Speaking of passion drinks in the AM.
I mean, a motherfucker shoots me in my hand, I'm coming after you.
I mean, I think
Look
I
how
would
cute this hand is.
I would be, mine aren't. I took my nails off last night. They're little nubs.
I think they look great.
Okay, so he got 4.5 years in a prison in Canada for this. And before he was released, a Canadian judge ordered that he be extradited back to the U.S. to face charges. Now, Charles filed dozens of appeals and dragged out the legal process up there alone for 6 years. He figured out one of the guards was telling him, all you got to do is fire your lawyers. And then they'll keep
over and over again.
He was being a little bitch baby. And
I always love when you call people little bitch babies.
He was being a little bitch baby.
He was being a little bitch baby.
That's right. And apparently it had something to do with Canada not wanting the death penalty on the table or some shit. I don't know. I read that a few times. Like they didn't want to
Canada isn't all for that. Canada's like free healthcare, love.
Yeah. And they were.
they're doing some good shit up there.
Yeah. And so he worked the legal system every which way, and he dragged it out in California another 7 years. So 14 years. Just to get this. Also, a fun fact, this was the most costly trial in U.S. history.
Oh, my God.
More than OJ.
Okay.
$20 million was spent on this in 1998.
Okay. That makes me want to kill someone myself, but real quick. So, okay. It took all that time for them to get him to trial, but he was locked up the entire time, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So he was still in prison.
Yeah, he was locked up, but he was such a whiny little
I
bit.
totally get it.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure that he was locked up, probably getting his butthole stretched out.
I hope so.
I'm sure.
Fucking hope so.
I don't know that you can be in prison for a long time and like, sexy sex going on. Whether or not it's because you want it or you don't. Because, I don't know. I don't know. Anyone can turn any way. 20 tigers is 20 tigers. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
This bitch.
I'm just making sure you know what I'm saying.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put me in jail for 15 years. I'm sure Tanya's going to be looking real nice.
Oh, my God. What's that Miranda Lambert song? We're way too pretty for prison.
I guess.
Yes, it is. Okay. $20 million in 1998 is
That's
how
insane.
much do you think today?
In 2024, where inflation's a cunt, 64 million.
38.
Okay, well, I got excited.
Inflation.
I am so over inflation.
Now, think about the delay from the property to like where they live to then. Now, some of the evidence had been destroyed and time was lost, obviously, because that was a long fucking time. Like, I don't know why they destroyed some of the evidence, but they did. Just
I think they sit in like, but yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, though, if it's still an open trial, they really shouldn't.
I know.
I'm like, I totally get you cleaning out like a 1960s murder trial that was like confirmed, but
not this one. And you're spending a lot of money on it.
Yeah, so, people are stupid.
I know. So, like I said, he was being a little whiny bitch baby. He was saying, oh, I need new glasses. I can't see. Or I need motion sickness meds because the courthouse was 50 miles from the prison.
I want to stab his eyes out.
Or the food was bad. Shit like that. Literally anything.
I need to see what's his name?
Charles Ng, but it's NG.
Okay.
And he was finally indicted on 12 counts of murder.
Oh, he looks like a bitch baby.
Yeah. He was indicted on 12 counts of murder, and the trial moved forward in October of 1998, and which they think total, they killed over 25 people.
Real quick, this guy does not look like a killer, though.
No.
At all. Like, and once more, people who are sitting over there being like, what does a killer look like? Bitch, you know what a fucking killer looks like.
There's some people you look at and you're like, you're crazy. Like
when
Leonard,
he's young,
like,
he looks fucking crazy. Like, I'm not going to say him
that's
young, but like, so when he was being a murderer, he looked like a murderer, but a lot of the time he looks like a tax accountant.
Yeah, 100%. And Leonard, like, looks crazy. Like, he looks scary.
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after I heard his voice on those videos and then I saw him, it's literally burned into my brain. I'm like,
I mean, he's terrifying.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to point out that besides the fact that they killed 25 people, they could pin 12 on him because the other guy fucking killed himself like a little bitch. And then if you were going
to guess one of them was going to kill themselves, it would have been Charles.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. And I also want to point out that he went through 10 attorneys during the trial and sued one of them. I also want to mention that the 12 people that they knew for a fact they could connect to him that he killed were all done within less than a year. So they were just going and doing shit.
Oh, they killed. Sorry, I thought you said done within a year. I was like, so the trial was fast and they went through all 12. Okay.
No, yeah. He had killed all those people in less than a year.
Wow.
The ones that they could actually pin on him. Yeah. And Charles tried to say that he was scared of Leonard and he looked up to him and he made him do it. But like during the trial, right? Like during the trial, like the M tape, that what they called it, that showed it. Like they don't show him killing anybody, but they literally show him torturing people, saying, "I hate you. I'm going to whip you. Your baby's sleeping like a rock." All the shit.
It's like the Barbie killers. Barbie and Ken killer, or whatever it was.
They showed the video at the trial, and they played the tape of them torturing Brenda and Kathy. Like I couldn't imagine being in that journey.
I couldn't imagine being the parents, the daughter, anyone who was surviving, because apparently they just killed families.
Yeah, and they also killed most people. They don't kill people that they know. Like the Night Stalker just would be like, this house is open, but neighbors, two of his coworkers. Like Charles's coworkers, he was at work saying no gun, no fun, and the baby's gonna burn, and mommy has to die. All this weird. His coworkers heard him saying this. There's so many times that I think that someone could have stepped in, and it never happened. Like every one of them was connected to him somehow, almost.
I don't know. I mean,
it's wild.
That's what sucks. That's what sucks. Is like
hindsight,
because you've totally told me in your lifetime, in your entire life, not necessarily your recent life, that you've had coworkers that give you true heebie-jeebies. You're like, that person killed somebody, and I don't see you telling any cop.
You know what? You're right.
So
you're right.
The second you said that, I was like, there's a particular person where you told me 1,000 times that you're like, they're going to kill someone, and I'm like, okay, well, time for you to go to Owensboro PD.
You're right. I stand corrected.
But I also don't think he was like, no,
if
I need to shoot and kill people. They burn babies. Like
this is just like, me. Like you're a creep somehow. Yeah. You make something beep within me. Not that I think that you're packing heat in your car and you're gonna go do it right away.
Yeah.
But yes, I just feel like hindsight, I guess.
Yeah.
And Leonard kept journals of everything because of course he fucking did, the sick asshole. So they tried to submit them to court, but since he was dead, the judge rejected him because he even talked about Charles is a little apprehensive. Like, I guess one of the journals was like, Charles is a little nervous about it, but he's going to come around.
I'm very intrigued that a murderer was like, you know what is really good for me to like calm my nerves, get my pen to paper.
Oh, 100%. And
like,
then he
it
wrote
takes effort to journal. Like, I'm a journaler.
Yeah.
And it takes effort to journal. And he's like, I'm just going to journal about murder, death stuff.
Yeah, and he wrote about everything about his preparation for Operation Miranda. He's like, it comes out. And
why Miranda?
Because of the book. In the book, that was her name. So all of them, he called them Miranda.
In my mind, I'm like, the Miranda rights.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay.
But it was the book. That's the name of the girl that was in
the collector.
Mm-hmm. And then the defense, of course, they're grasping for straws at this point.
Yeah.
Like, and they were like, well, the tapes show him being a bad human. And it's terrible, but they don't show him killing anyone.
Oh my God, I hate everyone.
Yeah,
I hate
it's
every
so
fucking
annoying.
attorney. Fuck you right in your ass with a cucumber with fucking sandpaper around it. Fuck you. As a fuck you. I'm so annoyed by that shit.
Oh yeah, then listening
those
to it,
stupid legalities that you try to fuck you. Okay,
right?
I'm done.
Okay, get this. Charles Ng from prison somehow got the phone number of one of the female jurors.
I'm gonna kill somebody.
Called her house during the trial to try to cause a mistrial. Like, she's just at home at night and then gets a collect call from him. And she's like, what?
Obviously, you're not going to answer it because you can't, but if she would have.
I don't know if it was collect call back then or not.
It had to have been, I'm sure, in any scenario.
Yeah, she said she answered it.
Because they had to pay for it. The government had to pay for it, so it had to have been a collect call.
True. Yeah, it didn't cause a mistrial, which is weird to think about.
Well, my thought is she could have answered the phone call and it would have said that it was from him, or she would have known it was from that penitentiary and just said no.
She answered.
But she answered and she accepted the call.
Mm-hmm. She's on a recording saying that it haunted her. Like, that she was like, how did he, now he's in my home and I used to get to leave what he did at court, and now he's in my home. And she's like, it still terrified me. Like, they played an interview with her after, but they didn't cause a mistrial, which is,
that's not possible.
They were kind of just sick of him doing shit.
I hear you, but that's,
yeah,
I can't see how if she spoke to him and had a conversation, that's a mistrial.
Oh yeah, but they didn't. They were just like, nope, we're gonna keep going. Because I was surprised too. I was
you don't
like,
get to just change the law. I hear you, but I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And in that time frame in the 90s, like, that's not, you couldn't have done that.
Yeah,
you can't. Unless, like, in the law books, it now says because of that trial, you cannot have a mistrial because of freaking Ng versus the state of California or whatever. Anyway,
I think it was.
I'm annoyed by that.
I mean, it wasn't really annoying. I think it was just up to the judge, and the judge was so annoyed with him that he was like, "I don't fucking care. We're going." But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, as I'm doing this, because have you wondered where the fuck Cricket is? At all?
No.
During any of this, she'd been separated from him, but she was not. I don't think she was innocent by any fucking means. She worked as a school teacher's aide.
Of course.
And a few things, including a recording that I heard, was talking about her luring young girls for Leonard Lake to his house. And she, like, says it on the tape. So, like, she's going to the school to her job and convincing girls to come hang out with her fucking serial killer ex-husband. So, and she she says she doesn't know what he did. There's no fucking way. I don't believe that by anything. Cricket,
I don't either.
Yeah, because
he looks like he does that.
Right? And here's the thing. She was granted immunity for her testimony against Charles Ng. You don't need immunity unless you did something.
A, and B, we already had evidence of him killing 12 other people.
Thank you very much.
So why would you do that? Why would you offer that?
I don't know. They said it was too circumstantial without her. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
You have it on video.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, they granted her immunity, which people are still to this day pissed about, which I'm pissed about, because she had to do something. She admitted on tape that she brought 15-year-old girls to his house. Psycho. So the trial lasted 8 months, and in February of 1999, he was convicted for 11 of the 12 murders. And apparently the jury took weeks to deliberate on this, which after hearing all that and reading and seeing and doing, like, I don't know why it took weeks, but they got hung up on one of them, but they connected him with 11 of them. And the jury recommended the death penalty, and the judge actually upheld it because it's not common apparently in California to push for that.
What?
Yeah.
California doesn't do the death penalty?
Yeah.
They also don't do, like, GMOs.
When he said it out loud, when the judge started saying, I'm going to uphold this, blah, blah, Charles started cussing out the judge and going bananas. But he was so crazy during the trial that they made him wear this, like, shock collar thing. And then whenever he would yell or have outbursts, the bailiff would shock him like a dog. Because I'm like, there's a lot of other people that probably should have done that. Like, I didn't know that you could do that. I don't know if you still can anymore.
I don't think you still can.
They're just changing all the rules in this one.
Because they would have done that.
Yeah. To a lot of people, like that girl that tackled her lawyer and all that shit that the show business girl I talked about. Now, Charles Ng is still on death row at San Quentin, and he exhausted his last appeal in 2022. So there's some law that had changed that they're in 2018 about the death penalty, so they're still waiting. There's like 700 and some inmates on death row in California waiting. Like Scott Peterson and a couple other ones.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I haven't watched anything on Scott Peterson to be like, I don't know, I talked to somebody and they're like, where do you stand on Scott Peterson? And I was like, but he did it. And she's like, have you seen the other documentaries? And I was like, no. And they're like, well,
yeah, there's a lot of
difference. I'm on team not Scott Peterson. I'm like, fuck.
No, Charles Ng is about 65 years old now, and he's still there waiting for lethal injection, I guess. Now, here are some of the names of the known victims. I don't have all of them, but I have as many as I could get, who were tortured, raped, burned, shot, and murdered from his trial. So Sean Dubs, which was the son of Harvey Dubs and Deborah Dubs. Clifford Parenteau, I hope I'm saying that right. Jeffrey Gerald, Michael Carroll, Kathy Allen, Lonnie Bond Sr., Lonnie Bond Jr., the infant, Brenda O'Connor, and then Robin Scott Stapley. And then I know there's others as well, like I said, neighbors, family members, people they met through newspaper ads, the coworkers. And then Leonard Lake had lived at like a boarding house, and then he had like killed like two of those people too while he was there before Charles even came to live with them. Now, and then another point is that like the system has sort of failed. Like they're all tied directly to him. Leonard.
I was like, was no one looking for missing people? Did no one call that there was a serial killer? Like I don't understand the police in this one.
Not at all. No.
And why it was $20 million.
Yeah.
Like you literally they basically said, hey, I did this because Leonard fucked up and like went up to him and literally was like, here's Dicey, thanks. And then they were like, come to my house. And they were literally just breadcrumbed into it.
Yeah. And it's all people that were connected to him. He lived at his ex-wife's property with the same last name as his ex-wife. Yeah. And they didn't just go check there. Like, it blows my mind. I feel like more could have been done. But I mean,
feel like anything at all remotely.
Like one drive-by?
You and I could have woken up and decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to be detectives. Yeah. And we could have figured that shit out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the fucked up story of Leonard Lake and Charles Ng, the psycho rapists and serial killers. And
were they ever called anything?
I don't think they had a nickname. They're just...
Because no one even knew they'd killed people because they're just fucking dumb?
Terrible. They called that bunker the dungeon. Like they would take people in the dungeon, and I think that they fucking suck, and I hate them in that story. Oh God, watch that documentary if you want to.
What's it on?
You have to say it.
Oh, Peacock.
Yes, it's on Peacock, the world's most evil serial killers, and there's quite a few about them because they're terrible humans. So,
well, I think I'll add that to the queue tonight.
Yeah, do it.
Well, shit, fuck.
Yeah.
Thanks for starting my day with a dose of murder.
I know. Now I'm sweaty.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's hot in here.
Oh, I'm like, I want a jacket.
Oh.
My skin is literally cold.
I'm literally sweating.
I'm like, man, I can't wait to put my jacket on.
All right, guys. Thank
you. Thank you for listening. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks for
really
stopping by. Isn't that what what's his name said? What is his name? Mr. Rogers.
It's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I hope you guys have a lovely day.
Yes.
Like, listen, rate, review, subscribe, all the things, because that would really help us out and we'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Okay, I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?